100%.
What do you think he has to do to have that great walk-off moment that you had?
Give me a take on Aaron Rodgers. Is he still capable of leading championship football?
Aaron Rodgers has been in the league for nearly 2 decades, but somehow in the 2025-26 NFL season, he looks more unstoppable than ever, and NFL legends are saying it out loud. What makes this resurgence even more shocking is the fact that Rodgers is performing at a level most quarterbacks never reach, even in their prime. Instead of slowing down, he has refined his game to a point where every throw, every read, every decision feels like it's ripped straight from a masterclass. And for many former greats who've watched this league evolve, Rodgers' performance this season isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. The anticipation before this season was cautious. Rodgers was coming off injuries, he was approaching his 40s, and many analysts questioned whether the game had simply become too fast, too physical, and too demanding.
Right now.
What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
That's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%.
But as the games began, it quickly became clear that what Rodgers lost in youth, he gained in absolute mastery. His timing sharpened, his decision-making tightened, his command of the offense became almost chess-like, moving defenders like pieces, forcing coverage breakdowns without ever having to leave the pocket. NFL legends who made their careers on precision and mental sharpness immediately recognized something familiar. Rodgers had transitioned from being a physical marvel to becoming a strategic surgeon.
Capable of leading championship football?
I think so. Look, the guy's super talented, probably has, arguably one of the best arms of all time. He's just kind of elastic. So I don't have any insight on that. Hopefully he gets with the team soon and, kind of gets going. So it'll be fun to see him back out there on the field.
Throughout the season, Rodgers' control at the line of scrimmage has been one of the biggest talking points. Former MVP quarterbacks have said that Rodgers is operating at a pre-snap level almost no one else in history has reached. He identifies pressure before it forms, manipulates safeties with subtle looks, and remains 3 steps ahead of defensive coordinators who've been studying him for years. Every time the defense believes they have him contained, he drops a metaphorical bomb downfield or finds a tight window completion that simply shouldn't exist.
He's won a Super Bowl, many championship games. He's a winner. And I think what I've always appreciated about him, what everybody does, is his ability to throw a football and pass it. It's like in Aaron in his prime, to me, is the greatest passer of the football the league's ever seen. He could get the ball from point A to B faster and more accurate than any player, I think, in the history.
Even when defenders do manage to collapse the pocket, Rodgers' poise has been nearly unshakable. His footwork stays calm, his vision remains intact, and he'll slide just enough to create a throwing lane without breaking the play's rhythm. Legends from previous eras, who relied heavily on mental acuity to compensate for declining athleticism, have praised this aspect more than anything else. They see Rodgers evolving, not regressing. And what really makes this season so shocking is that Rodgers isn't just surviving. He's dominating at a level that reminds many of his peak years, but with even better efficiency. NFL icons have repeatedly highlighted the fact that Rodgers rarely puts the ball in harm's way, barely forces throws, and still somehow generates explosive plays at a rate unmatched by most quarterbacks this season. It's not reckless magic, it's controlled brilliance. For many legends of the sport, Rodgers' performance this year is showing what happens when elite experience intersects with elite talent, and the result is something the league simply isn't built to stop. One of the most fascinating things NFL legends have pointed out about Rodgers this season is the way his game has adapted to the modern NFL.
Quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, the more accomplished quarterback, the quarterback that has had the best career is Tom Brady. And prior to seeing Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers was the most gifted thrower of the football that I'd ever laid eyes on. And I was in the era smack dab, and I remember Dan Marino, played with Dan Marino in a couple of Super Bowls. But Aaron Rodgers was the most gifted thrower of the football that I had ever seen. And his ability to throw the ball from different arm angles, from different platforms, rolling left, rolling right, and throw with accuracy is what set him apart from any other quarterback that we had.
The league has shifted dramatically over the years. faster defenders, more complex coverages, hybrid safeties, disguised pressure packages, and analytics-driven strategies that evaluate quarterbacks down to every inch of movement. Yet Rodgers looks completely unfazed. Former greats have described his play as timeless, because while the league evolves, Rodgers consistently finds ways to stay ahead of the curve. He doesn't rely on speed or brute athleticism. His dominance comes from precision, manipulation, and anticipation, traits that age like fine wine. This season in particular, Rodgers is showcasing a level of accuracy and touch that legends compare to the best years of their own careers. Whether it's the back shoulder throws only he can place or the pinpoint strikes over the middle, Rodgers' ball placement remains elite. When former NFL passers break down his film, the reactions are nearly unanimous. Rodgers is putting the ball where only the receiver can touch it, in a spot that neutralizes defenders even when coverage is technically perfect. These aren't lucky throws. They're intentional, calculated releases based on decades of studying angles, leverage, and defensive body language. NFL legends recognize that because they've lived it, and many openly say Rodgers may be the best pure thrower the league has ever seen. Another thing...
Say what you want about Aaron, but he's arguably the greatest playmaker in the game.
Legends admire is Rodgers' ability to extend plays without relying on reckless scrambling. Younger quarterbacks often use their legs as a first instinct. Rodgers uses movement as a mechanism to reset the defense. He'll slide left, step up, drift back, or buy a fraction of a second, just enough time to deliver a strike. Older quarterbacks who built careers on pocket manipulation see this as master-level quarterbacking. It's not desperation, it's orchestration. Even with age, Rodgers' mobility hasn't vanished, it has evolved. Instead of running from danger, he manipulates it. But perhaps the biggest compliment legends have given Rodgers is about his leadership, not the loud, fiery leadership people associate with hype videos. The real kind that shows up in the huddle, on the sideline, and in critical late-game moments. Former NFL stars say Rodgers is displaying a level of composure that anchors an entire team. When a quarterback carries himself with that much calmness, trust spreads through the roster like wildfire. Players run sharper routes, linemen block longer, coaches call bolder plays. Legends who've played with Hall of Fame caliber leaders recognize the effect instantly. For many retired greats, what Rodgers is doing this season isn't just impressive, it's a blueprint for longevity. They see him defying age not with physical stubbornness, but with refinement, intelligence, and mastery. Rodgers has become the veteran every young quarterback wishes to learn from, and every former quarterback wishes they could have played alongside. NFL legends also highlight Rodgers' mental edge, something that's become even sharper in the 2025-26 season. The modern NFL is a challenging environment for quarterbacks. Defensive coordinators adjust faster, young athletes are more explosive, and the margin for error evaporates each season. Yet Rodgers remains calm in chaos, operating with an internal clock that seems permanently synced with the rhythm of the game. Legends who built reputations on high-pressure performance say Rodgers is displaying the rarest form of quarterback confidence, controlled aggression. He's fearless but not reckless. He takes risks, but only calculated ones. Every decision feels like it comes from a player who has already visualized the outcome before the play even begins. This season, Rodgers has shown an ability to diagnose defenses almost instantaneously. NFL legends have reacted to his film with a mix of amazement and envy, pointing out how Rodgers identifies coverage disguises before the ball is even snapped. The defense can rotate safeties, send blitzes late, or show exotic fronts. It doesn't matter. Rodgers rarely looks surprised. Instead, he adjusts protections, redirects receivers, and manipulates defenders with subtle eye movements. Many Hall of Fame quarterbacks have said that this level of vision comes only with age and experience, and Rodgers is using it better than anyone active in the league today. Another thing legends emphasize is Rodgers' ability to weaponize simplicity. While some quarterbacks rely on overly complicated reads, Rodgers breaks down defenses by attacking their smallest weaknesses. He doesn't need exotic schemes or trick plays. A quick slant, a back shoulder fade, a seam route. Rodgers turns basic concepts into unstoppable weapons because he executes them with surgical precision. Former quarterbacks who made careers in West Coast offenses or timing-based systems admire this element most because they understand how difficult it actually is. Making simple concepts elite requires extraordinary consistency. Rodgers' poise in tight window situations also adds to his legend. Many quarterbacks shy away from contested throws, especially against top-tier cornerbacks. Rodgers embraces them. He throws with anticipation before receivers break, trusting the route and trusting his placement. This is something legends say separates great quarterbacks from good ones. Anticipation throws win playoff games. Anticipation throws beat elite defenses. And this season, Rodgers is threading these windows on a weekly basis. What truly stands out to the legends, though, is Rodgers' ability to elevate talent around him. A quarterback doesn't need superstar weapons to be effective, not when they can make average receivers look exceptional through timing, placement, and trust. Former NFL stars talk about how Rodgers consistently boosts the confidence of his teammates simply by giving them chances to make plays. This trait alone has caused multiple legends to argue that Rodgers is the most impactful offensive presence in football right now. In short, Rodgers' mental mastery is what sets him apart this season. Legends aren't just impressed, they're inspired. They see a quarterback turning decades of experience into unstoppable performance, something few in history have ever done. NFL legends also believe that Aaron Rodgers has become virtually unstoppable this season because he's mastered the art of playing within chaos, something that separates generational quarterbacks from everyone else. The 2025-26 season has brought an unprecedented level of defensive innovation across the league. Teams are disguising blitzes with hybrid players, rotating safeties at the snap, and using unpredictable pressure packages designed specifically to confuse veteran quarterbacks. Yet Rodgers seems to process the chaos around him with stunning clarity. His ability to stay patient, diagnose threats, and strike at the exact right moment is something even the greatest defenders have openly praised. This season, Rodgers has also shown a remarkable ability to preserve his body while still staying aggressive. Former NFL stars who struggled with injuries late in their careers have pointed out that Rodgers has learned how to avoid unnecessary hits without sacrificing playmaking. Instead of taking punishing sacks or forcing throws under pressure, he's making quick, smart decisions that keep the offense moving while protecting his longevity. Legends admire this evolution because they know firsthand how difficult it is to balance competitiveness with self-preservation. Rodgers has found that balance perfectly. Additionally, his chemistry with his receivers this season has been one of the biggest talking points among former greats. Legends often talk about how true quarterback-wide receiver chemistry isn't about running routes. It's about understanding each other instinctively. Rodgers' receivers know how he wants them to adjust mid-route. They know when he's improvising, when he's manipulating defenders, and when he's about to launch a deep shot. This synergy creates an almost unfair advantage, and older NFL legends recognize it as one of the final evolutions in a quarterback's career, when trust and timing reach their peak at the same time. Another aspect legends highlight is Rodgers' mastery of game tempo. Modern offenses rely heavily on pacing, shifting rhythm constantly to put defenses on edge. Rodgers controls clock pace better than almost anyone. He knows when to go hurry up to exploit mismatches. He knows when to slow the game down to force defenses into conservative shells. This ability to dictate the flow of the game is something legends describe as quarterback jazz, a free-flowing understanding of timing and momentum that only the best quarterbacks in history ever reach. Finally, NFL legends appreciate how Rodgers has embraced the role of veteran leader without becoming rigid. Some older quarterbacks become predictable late in their careers, leaning on old habits. Rodgers, however, has shown adaptability. He evolves, adjusts, and reinvents himself with each season. That willingness to adapt is what many former greats say keeps him unstoppable even as the league changes around him. For NFL legends, Rodgers is playing the game this season the way they always dreamed of doing it, with wisdom, patience, aggression, and total artistic control. It's the version of quarterbacking only a few ever achieve. As the season continues, NFL legends are becoming even more vocal about what Aaron Rodgers is accomplishing, and many believe he's redefining what longevity and elite play actually look like. They see a quarterback combining physical talent, mental mastery, and decades of experience to dominate defenses in ways most younger quarterbacks simply can't replicate. While age often becomes the barrier that forces quarterbacks into decline, Rodgers is showing that for players who take care of their bodies, evolve their game, and strengthen their minds, age can actually become an advantage. One theme legends consistently bring up is Rodgers' ability to stay unpredictable. Defensive coordinators have tried everything: exotic blitzes, disguised coverages, aggressive press man, delayed rotations, but Rodgers continues finding weaknesses. This unpredictability frustrates opponents and forces defenses into conservative game plans, opening opportunities for the rest of the offense. Former All-Pro defenders have admitted that Rodgers is one of the few quarterbacks who can't be baited into bad decisions. He refuses to panic, refuses to rush throws, and refuses to let the defense dictate the tempo. Legends have also noted how Rodgers' leadership has matured. While his younger years were defined by fierce competitiveness, this era of his career is defined by composure and mentorship. Former quarterbacks say Rodgers has reached the point where he's not just playing for numbers or accolades, he's playing for flawless execution. He's playing to outthink, outmaneuver, and out-tough the opponents mentally. This mental shift is what has legends saying Rodgers may be playing some of the best football of his life. Another reason legends believe Rodgers is unstoppable this season is the way he handles pressure situations. Whether it's a 2-minute drill, a 3rd and long, or a late 4th quarter drive, Rodgers consistently delivers. Hall of Fame quarterbacks have said that these clutch moments separate the great players from the legendary ones. Rodgers thrives in them, not because of adrenaline, but because he remains grounded and even-toned. The moment never feels too big for him because he's lived through nearly every scenario the game can present. But perhaps the most striking compliment from NFL legends is this: Rodgers is playing the position like an artist. Not just a competitor, not just a technician, an artist. They see creativity in the way he manipulates defenders, elegance in the way he releases the football, and rhythm in the way he controls the game flow. These qualities mark the final evolution of a quarterback's career. Legends say Rodgers has entered a tier few have ever reached, the tier where experience becomes a weapon sharper than raw arm talent. With all these factors combined, it becomes clear why NFL legends unanimously agree. Aaron Rodgers has been virtually unstoppable this season. His legacy was already secure, but his 2025-26 campaign is strengthening it even further, showcasing a version of quarterback greatness built on refinement, intellect, and total command of the sport. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep NFL stories and analysis.